Laura, happy birthday. Happy 40th birthday. You have always been beautiful, inside and out. When we first found out we were expecting you, I was hoping and praying for a beautiful little baby girl, and that is exactly what God gave us. You have always had a beautiful smile. Your Grandma Mary told me that one day you both were in the grocery store and a man walked up to you guys and said you were the most beautiful little child he had ever seen. And I agree. Your hair even sparkled. My mom and dad loved taking care of you and Matt while we were at work. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, leaving my baby to go back to work. And even though I knew you were in my mom and dad's loving care, it was still really tough. We had just moved to the Villa Rose house when from the Rogersville farmhouse. I went back to work when you were 7 weeks old. My mom stayed in shape while she took care of you. She pushed that little yellow umbrella stroller all over the Roundtree neighborhood. She and my dad were so proud of you and Matt, and they were always happy to babysit whenever we asked them. When Mark came along and you, uh, let's see, and then Michael, you were always the best big sister. You were always careful around them and very attentive to their needs. I always knew you would be a great mother someday. You could take care of baby Michael for short periods when you were only 9 years old and we were out mowing lawns and doing the lawn service. While we were out mowing with our lawn business, you were always very mature. And you were a good little sister for Matt. He always took good care of you. You were always a wonderful middle child and that we could count on to behave and to be responsible. You had a lot of friends growing up, and you were always very social. When you were around 3, you used to talk to me all day long. I mean, all day long. Great conversations, but constant talking. And your dad worried that when you started Sunday school, would you be able to be quiet so the teacher could teach? But that is just what happened. You understood it was time to be quiet. And all of your teachers, you were always a good student, and all of your teachers enjoyed having you in their class. You remember Mrs. Joyce Samsel, the principal at Bingham? She was always one of your great fans. I wish she could see you now as a reading coach at Sherwood. You were a very good music student, too. There is a picture of you here taking piano lessons with Marie Alberti. Do you remember her? And playing viola in Strolling Strings at Hickory Hills was always so much fun to watch. And then you continued to play in orchestra at Glendale, play the viola. Orchestra at Glendale became your social group all through high school. All of the lessons and life experiences you had with your Girl Scout leader, Dana Bruns, in Brownies and Girl Scouts helped prepare you for life. You learned outdoor and camping skills, cooking, and exhibited many crafts at the Ozark Empire Fair. I hope you enjoyed those experiences as much as I did. You learned about fashion and sewing in home ec in high school. I was very impressed that you made your own graduation dress to wear under your gown, and it went perfect with your flip-flops. I remember all the dress shopping trips you went on with Grandma Mary. She loved shopping with you and buying your formal dresses. It was so much fun for her. She really looked forward to it. Of course, fashion was important to her, as you know. And on the subject of fashion, do you remember Grandma Marlene's little angel shop she had in Rogersville? She used your picture in an ad to advertise for her shop. You were the perfect little angel in that picture. Another grandparent who adored you was always Grandpa Bob. Remember the sunset maple tree he planted in our yard, in our front yard when you were about 4 years old? I believe he planted it on your 4th birthday because the leaves were 3 different colors because he wanted us to have a beautiful shade tree and fall tree in our front yard. Skip a few years to when you were 16 and driving. I specifically remember your dad letting you drive us either to or from St. Louis on one of Mark's soccer trips. He told you just a little bit too late about the exit you were supposed to get off on, and we all about lost our lunch when you, at the last minute, made that exit turn. Anyway, you got on it anyway, just in time. Fun times. That is why I taught you to drive. Laugh out loud. You have always loved dogs. When you were about 3 or 4 years old, you went out back to the dog pen to check on our dog Freckles. And you came back in the house yelling, "Mommy, Mommy, Freckles has duckies." Well, I went out there to check, and sure enough, she didn't have duckies, but she did have 8 or 9 squirming puppies.